What is up? I have talked with hundreds of podcasters, content creators, business owners, because we know that if you don't exist on social media, if you're not creating a digital presence, you don't exist. You are dead. Your business is dead. Your podcast is not going to work. Your YouTube channel is going to fail. And after working with hundreds of people, I've started to recognize common denominators, common issues and challenges that people run into during the course of creating their digital presence. Let's be 100% clear. The biggest problem, the most common reason why your show is failing, why your online presence is failing, why you're not getting email leads, why people are not messaging you on Facebook and Instagram, there's one reason. Well, maybe not one, there's probably a lot of reasons, but you got to start at the core, at the top of the cycle. And if you are not clear, if you fail to have clarity across your messaging, across your brand identity, what you're doing is not going to work. You're wasting time. You're wasting money. And so this is what I've really started to focus on: reading books, trying new things, working with clients, just trying to create core principles to making sure that you're on the actual right track, that what you're doing is actually going to get you your desired effect. So behind me on the board for everyone on YouTube, you're going to see that I have got this content life cycle, okay? And as you produce more content, as you speak to more people, you're going to get a more clear understanding of who they are and the problems they have. And so today, I just want to talk to you real briefly about clarity, okay? And I want to ask you to answer 5 questions. You need to, absolutely must need to be clear on your answers to these 5 questions. If you can't answer these 5 questions clearly, you need to stop everything you're doing and start thinking about it right now. Because if you can't answer these 5 questions, everything you're doing is for naught. It's not going to work. You're wasting your freaking time. I don't want that. You don't want that. Your clients don't want that. Your wife or your spouse definitely don't want you wasting time. Your kids don't want you wasting time. So look, time is valuable. We don't want to waste it. So I'm going to go ahead and ask you right now 5 questions that I want you to answer. I need you to answer. If not for me, do it for you, do it for your family, do it for your clients, your audience. And you know what, quite frankly, I want you to share this episode with the answers, with your answers to the 5 questions, and tag me. If you do that, I promise I will give you something special. It's not going to be candy. You're actually going to really like it. Okay. So share this episode, write your 5 answers, and tag me at Mark Savant Media on the social. Okay, so question 1, who do you speak to? Who do you speak to? You would be shocked at how difficult this question is to answer. Most people are like, well, I think they're this or that. No, you got to get clear. And again, as you go through the content life cycle, as you engage with more people, you're going to get higher levels of clarity of who you speak to. You might have a hypothesis that you're speaking to elementary school teachers, but it actually turns out you're speaking to college professors. You know, you just don't know who you're speaking to fully until you start creating and engaging. You need to get clear on who you speak to. And when I say who do you speak to, we're not just talking demographic. Okay, we're not just talking age, location, gender, income, ethnicity. It goes way deeper than that. When we talk about who you speak to, you really need to get granular on the psychographic. And when we talk about psychographic, you might say, Mark, I don't know what you're talking about. You're talking about psychos, something like this. I'm not into psychotics. All right. We're not talking psychotics. We're talking psychographics. So psychographics are similar to demographic, except it's more about what that person is interested in. I'll give you a perfect example. A perfect example of a psychographic might be, what type of music does your person listen to? Does your audience enjoy sports? What do they do in their spare time? Okay. And as you get more granular and you think about who you speak to, what kind of clothes they wear, do they go to nightclubs? What time do they wake up? Start thinking about this stuff. Do they read books? You can hear me. I'm just kind of going off right now. So start thinking about psychographics in this way. And, this is, a lot of people call this the avatar exercise. Build your avatar, create your perfect avatar. And, that's kind of cliche, but it is true. You want to build an avatar. However, just to understand, and please remember this, that the avatar that you write out at first, it's not going to be correct. Hopefully you're close to correct, but as you create, as you engage, as you speak, you're going to get more clarity on who you speak to. So that's question one. Who do you speak to? Okay. I feel kind of like a torture bad guy in James Bond. Who do you work for? Okay. Just get clear on who you speak to. It's everything. Trust me, it's everything. Okay. Now that you're clear on who you speak to, you need to get clear on what keeps them up at night. What's the problem that they have? And this at its essence is just so important, because if you don't know the problem that they have, that dramatic challenge that they're just really having a hard time overcoming, there's no way that you're going to be able to provide them with a solution, whether it's within your business, whether it's in your podcast, whether it's within your video content. You are not going to be able to solve their problem if you don't know what their problem is. I speak to business owners that are struggling to make the jump to digital media. That's who I speak to. That's who I want to do consultations for. That's who I want to bring into my services business. That's who I speak to. You need to get clear on what is the problem that you solve. And then once you get clear on A, who you speak to, and B, what that problem is, because I know that these business owners, because as I communicate with them, I get a better understanding. They're just completely overwhelmed. I don't know what the Facebook algorithm wants this month. I don't know what it wanted last month. I don't have time to create all this content. I know that I need to get business from social media. I just don't know how to do it. And that's when I come in and I help them build the infrastructure, or I do ongoing consultation, or again, we do services, whatever it is. I recognize the problem that my market had, and I worked to develop a solution for them. And I'll tell you what, the solutions that I offer now are not going to look the same as they do in 6 months or a year, because as I get to know my audience better, I go right back to clarity, and we get more and more clarity on the problem that my ideal audience has. So question number 2, what keeps your audience up at night? What is the problem that they just can't seem to solve? That's question 2. So this leads us to question number 3. Why you? Seriously, why you? There's millions of people out there that are trying to solve this problem that your audience has, but why should they listen to you? What makes you special? Is it your experience? Is it your innovation? Is it the connections that you have? Is it your commitment to excellence? Is it your specialization? Is it your diversity? Like, what makes you special? What makes you and your business different? If you're not able to articulate this, you've lost the game, okay? So you got to be able to lean in to what makes you special. And, one of the things that's important about the way that the internet and the distribution works is, like I mentioned before, there's many people trying to solve the same problems that you are. And what you can really lean into is your individuality, into your personality. Again, what makes you unique? Maybe it's the crazy hair that you got. Okay. Maybe it's the clothes that you like to wear. Maybe it's the slang that you speak. I actually had Jasmine Starr on my podcast recently. You can check out that episode here. And for everyone listening, I'll have a link below. But one of the things that struck me as soon as I had Jasmine on the show was how much Jasmine she puts into everything that she does. She came in like a freight train, tons of energy, tons of really great information. And she was bringing this slang, like you could feel it. It's really palpable. Again, I really encourage you to check out that episode, because it's going to give you a good idea on how your personality can make you different. Okay. So we've talked about the first 3, and this last third question, again, or not the last, but this third question is why you? You got to explain it. Okay, brilliant. So just to recap here, we've determined who we speak to, not just demographics, but psychographics. We've determined the problem that they have that we can solve. Okay, but you've determined and clarified the problem that they have, what keeps them up at night. And you've also realized what makes you different, what makes you unique, why you. So now you've got their attention. They're like, you know what? I like this Mark guy. I like this Jane chick. Like, I'm down. I'm in. Now it's time for you to present your solution. What's the plan? You've identified them and their problem and yourself. But now you need to explain to them what your actual plan is, what the map is. And again, this could be, if you want to solve your problem, listen to the podcast. If you want to solve your problem, call me for a consultation. If you want to solve your problem, buy this product. This is marketing 101, ladies and gentlemen. But as a podcaster, as a creator, a marketer, or business, whoever you are, you absolutely 100% must lay out a plan that's clear, that's concise, and that makes sense to them. So before I pick up the phone and dial, before I click the subscribe button, the listen button, you need to lay out very clearly how you're going to solve my problem. And you don't, listen, we're talking about clarity and conciseness, right? It's not about laying out the entire plan, every single step in the plan. It's not about that. It's about quickly and simply clarifying how you're going to get someone from point A to point B, because it's important to them. It's keeping them up at night. They need this solved. Their life depends on it. And guess what? You're here to solve that problem. Click the button. Listen here. Watch this. Call here. Click here. You get where I'm coming from? I hope you do. If you do, make sure you smash the like button, smash the subscribe button. All right. So let's move on to the fifth question, really the fifth and sixth question that you need to ask yourself about your audience. Number 6, what does failure look like versus what does success look like? So this is all about framing, okay? This person knows they have a problem. It's keeping them up at night. They're suffering. They're struggling. What happens if they take no action? Does it mean they lose their job? Does it mean they fall into obscurity? Does it mean they file for bankruptcy? Does it mean their business is dead? What is the cost of failure? Because now your call to action is so much stronger because you've identified and you've clarified and clearly, concisely explained to them who they are, their problem, who you are, your solution, and what the cost is of not taking action. If you do not take action, you're going to be suffering. And contrasting that with what is the success that you're going to see if you take the action. If you listen to the podcast, this is the result. If you click the button, this is the result. If you buy the product, this is the result. Again, this is all framing your messaging in a way that emotionally, not just emotionally, but rationally and logically breaks down the action that they need to take to solve their problem. And I'm telling you, if you're able to answer these 5 questions, I actually added on a 6th there. What does success versus failure look like? But if you're able to answer these 5 questions, I promise you, you're going to start to see massive increases in your goals. You're going to start reaching those key performance indicators. You're going to start seeing your revenue increase. I made more money in the last 3 months than I did the last 3 years. And I hope I can continue saying that. But this is really the result of this, because listen, the journey that I've been on has been long. I've been on a very long journey. I've made so many mistakes. And that's really what I'm trying to get back to. I'm saying, listen, you can go through this life cycle, clarity, planning, recording, editing, posting, engaging. You can go through the whole life cycle over and over and over again, and you will. But if we can get you to this clarity, like this, let me put it this way. The sooner you are clear on these 5 questions, the sooner your business, your podcast, your YouTube channel, the sooner you're going to start to take off. Because all this other stuff, like how long should my videos be? What kind of hashtag should I use? Who should I be posting? Like all that stuff is great, but it just changes all the time. So all the strategies that you thought that you've learned and mastered as far as what type of content and et cetera, it's all going to change. What you know now might be completely different in 3 months. However, if you continuously and adamantly get clear on these 5 questions, the sky's the limit. Everything else trickles down from there. So again, my challenge to you today, in addition to subscribing and liking and commenting and all of that good stuff, this is the challenge. I want you to go ahead and share this episode. I want you to tag Mark Savant Media, and then you're going to answer these 5 questions. I'm challenging you right now because I will notice, I will acknowledge you, and I will reshare, repost. I'm going to get you free eyeballs and ear holes. Okay. So answer the 5 questions: who you speak to, what keeps them up at night, why you are the best solution, what plan you have for them, how you're going to get them to where they want to go, and then paint a picture of what failure and success looks like for that person. That's the challenge. Here at Mark Savant Media, we help you create better content in less time and turn that attention into income. But look, before we can even get started, you got to get clear on these questions. I'll catch you here next time on the After Hours Entrepreneur. Mark Savant signing off. Peace.